Hello and welcome to the TTP podcast. I missed the field manual part there, Zach, but I'm sure they got it. Welcome back to the TTP Field Manual podcast. Joshy's here, Zakky's here. How are you, Zach?
I'm great, thank you, Josh. How are you today?
Today, brother,
Tonight?
it's the middle of the night before this episode's going to come out because there was a error with the files of the actual recording for this week, and you're here to help me save the podcast.
I'm here to say the day. Say the day. Never mind. Don't worry about
it. Far out. All right. So, Zach, you and I are here doing a very last-minute podcast episode. This is going to be quite cash. It's going to be quite loosey-goosey. And because of what I just said, what are we possibly going to be talking about?
We're talking about Space Marine implants, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken. But boy howdy, what a thing to say. We're going to be talking about Space Marine implants.
Yeah.
Hey kids, you want to hear about implants? Do you want to become a Space Marine as well? Well, you can with 22 life-altering surgeries.
Shout out to the Kardashians.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Yep.
So there are a lengthy list before me. There is a lengthy list before me of implants that makes a Space Marine of the Warhammer 40k universe a Space Marine. Now, do they wake up that way one day? No. All Space Marines start off as boys. And over a grueling process known as the teen years, they turn into an elite superhuman killer, which is what a lot of teenage boys kind of hope happens to them, but it's not really the case.
Yeah, those are the ones on Reddit.
So, can we record late at night every time?
We can if you want.
So, you're aware that Space Marines are superhuman. You know, they take these mortal wounds that other humans will just, die to. And the Space Marines are like, no worries, it's just Tuesday, just a flesh wound. It's but a flesh wound. They are able to do some insane survivable things. And we're going to unpack the how and the why. So, what do you think goes into a Space Marine? What implants do you think they stick in?
So the only sort of implants that I'm aware of are the ones in the parody known as Space King, the globules.
Be positive.
Be positive. I don't think that's too far off, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I have actually not watched it.
Okay. I'm probably off the wrong. I'm probably on the wrong track. Are the additional organs that they get given counted as implants?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There we go. Additional organs. Probably some roids.
Yeah, good chance of it.
Yep.
So, all right. When Space Marine chapter is needing to get more bodies for their chapter, they need to go out and find the best recruits. And recruits have to be fairly young, because these implants are not necessarily functional or put in all at once. And if the recruit reaches physical maturity, the whole process doesn't actually work. And you see it a little bit in the Heresy, where some of the Primarch's best friends, such as Luther of the Dark Angels, Corphaeron of the Word Bearers, aren't even proper Astartes because they were too old. But they are there.
Oh.
And so, to paint this horrifying picture of child soldiers, not only are Space Marines looking for capable young boys who are exhibiting really just good constitution to their environments, but they're usually grabbing them from feral worlds, death worlds, think Catachan, think any of the planets on Helldivers, and they're like, you'll do. If you can survive this, you could probably survive our testing, because everyone needs to be tested to see if they can actually receive the recruitment implant process in the first place because there's not that much of it available. You got to be sure. But then at the same time, they'll also go and save their time by going to hive worlds and just studying all the little gangs and underhive scum. Because not only do you need constitution to survive the process, but it actually helps quite a lot if you're already a bit of a psycho killer. This whole picture's really awful to me because they're fighting boys. But the process starts from 10 years old in most cases.
What the heck?
What 10-year-olds are they finding on these worlds? And they're like, yeah, you'll do.
One's out there killing animals, I suppose.
Oh, they're probably going to get that one kid from Australia that swam the few kilometers to save his family. Like, hey, him. They're looking for guys like that who would swim kilometers in the ocean to save their family.
Yeah.
And that's all they're looking for. They're not just like gathering people at random. You know, the Space Wolves are up on their mountains and stuff looking for the last survivor of their little tribal warfares. But I'm like, you're looking for boys? How can... It's wild to me because this is a multi-year process for implanting them with a few organs, letting them mature from hormone therapy and genetic recoding, hypnotherapy, being exposed to different like audio and visual cues. That is this whole psycho arcane genetic science, this whole chemical stuff that's basically making the body adopt all these organs, growing them, making them all connect and work. But here's the real thing. It says in law that after they've had a few of them, after they've gone through the tissue compatibility tests, before or after they've done the psychological screenings, after they've been selected as good recruits, they get a few of the organs and then they become neophytes. Do you know what a neophyte is, Zach?
No, not really. I've heard the word thrown around, but I don't know what it is specifically.
It's a scout. The freaking scout marines are teenagers.
You're joking. Is that really?
Some of them have beards.
That's crazy.
And then they join the rank of brother between the ages of 16 to 18, according to the law, according to the timeline of implants. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And I understand if you're doing scouts for like reconnaissance, but have you looked at Black Templars, the neophytes in the Crusader squad that they use as meat shields to prove they can handle it? The freaking teenagers are the Black Templars meat shields.
Wow.
Now, I'm assuming that this is like older law and it's to be taken with a big grain of salt. Like, I don't think, you know, when they're writing Black Templar neophyte law or making scout models, they're thinking, well, yeah, these are teenagers.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, I think you're right. I think this is one of those like old legacy law bites.
Probably. But yes, they are looking for people who really can prove themselves in a good old scrap. Just aggressive, psycho children that can't be put down. And even if they are psychos, who cares? We're going to indoctrinate them anyway. For the Emperor!
For the Emperor!
So, we're going to get into the implants themselves now. There are 22.
That's crazy.
There were 19, and then Belisarius Cawl was like, here, have 3 more.
Have 3 more.
And if you hear a large big boom bang in the background, that's a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Welcome to the tropics.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, so a lot of these implants are lumped together in phases that are then grouped together. Well, technically each implant is a phase and several of the phases are bunched together. That's what I meant to say. For example, the first 3 implants are often put in together. 4 and 5 are put in together. Funnily enough, after 4 to 5, then hypnotherapy begins. And that's when you become a scout.
Okay.
Crazy sauce.
That is.
Most chapters, you know, are going to eventually, in their little apothecarians, start to have little bit of mutation. They're going to have a little bit of quirks here and there. For example, blood angels, like drinking blood, space wolves, little furries.
Howling.
Over time, they're howling. We're not furries. We're not. All right, brother. Oh man, it's worth also taking these with little grains of salt. That some Marines are going to get a little bit quirky if you were to dive into their lore, and it's mainly the first legions that have been around for ages, and all of this medical science of theirs has matured because each chapter has its own apothecarian that tends to all these implants. And we'll circle back around to how that even works in the first place later. So, ignoring the Space Wolf Blood Angel stuff, we're going to go into the generic first implant, the second heart, Zach.
Hey.
This one's easy enough to understand.
Yeah.
So the second heart, this really helps with the pumping of blood. This allows then pumping all that nice healing nutrition around to survive big injuries. It also helps if one heart is damaged or even just full on destroyed as an organ. The hearts themselves can pump extra good if they're in lower oxygen based environments. And so all Space Marines have two hearts.
Very cool.
Wonder where they put it. But anyway.
They just make the torsos extra wide so they have room.
They all get swole. They get swole hormone therapy. So implant 2 is the osmodula. Now the osmodula is apparently a small, complicated, tubular-shaped organ. Where is it? I don't know. But what does it do? It is basically a hormone secretion organ. And what it does is it encourages bone growth. What it's also doing is helping to absorb ceramic-based chemicals that are sprinkled in like salt into the Marines' diet. What that means is that over the rest of the implant process, the Marines are drastically altered in their skeletal system. After a few years post-implant of the osmodula, the bones themselves will be bigger and they will be stronger, with the ribcage itself having fused into a, quote, solid, bulletproof mass of interlocking plates.
Holy dooly.
Holy dooly.
Yeah.
Holy jula.
I'm a little bit stuck on the fact that they're sprinkling crushed up plates into their diet. That's weird. But anyway, glossing over that. I mean, everyone likes a bit of Chinese food, but that's not what I would have imagined. But anyway.
I will say this isn't the last time we will hear about microplastics.
Oh my gosh, that is totally what it is. Okay, fair. Yeah.
So we have second heart, we've got better bones. Number 3, the biscopia. It is a small circular organ that is inserted into the chest cavity. Ugh. What does it do? It releases hormones. Also worth mentioning, by the way, that all Space Marines are male, and that is not because no girls allowed. See, I have watched it. But it's because all of these organs are genetically keyed to male hormonal structures. Is this a cop-out? Possibly. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
The biscopia is a small circular organ in the chest cavity. It also encourages hormone release to make the muscles grow bigger. They are on trend.
Oh, they are too. There we go. There's the answer to the roids, I suppose.
So they're on microplastics and they're on roids.
Hell yeah.
No wonder they're so broy, brother.
And by the way, they're also on acid.
Well, would you believe me if I tell you later they have a sleeping gland put into their head?
A sleeping gland? What do you mean?
We'll come back.
Okay, we'll get there. Never mind. My apologies. No rushing. No rushing. Trust the process.
So the next three were not always there. But then when the Primaris came around, these are Marines that had 10,000 years of research time with Mr. Belisarius Cawl of the AdMech. He was like, you know what? I think the Emperor missed a few. Here are some good ideas that I've had 10,000 fucking years to think about. He came up with the sinew coils, or the steel within. So this is my wheelhouse, physical therapy and anatomical knowledge. It's what I do IRL. But Zach, do you know what tendons and ligaments are?
Yes.
All right. For those that don't know, tendons connect muscle to the bone and ligaments connect bone to bone. Belisarius Cawl was like, you know what? They weren't strong enough. And so the Marines are implanted with, and I quote, I'm going to be saying that a lot, dura metallic coil cables that contract with incredible force, dramatically magnifying the subject's strength beyond that of a regular Space Marine. So is he just putting snakes into people?
It sounds, well, I don't know about snakes. It sounded like what you said was like metallic.
Yeah, it seems like all of the tissues are one way or another being replaced with metallic cabling, whether it's bonding with it, whether it's surgically replaced, which seems a bit extreme, or if it's like a sheath. I'm not sure.
Maybe like, yeah, like over time it like slowly mutates into it.
But could you imagine the One Punch Man memes?
Yeah.
That's what they can do because they got their hand there and then they're like, you just got pistoned by my metallic cables.
You just got pistoned. Damn. Hold my piston cup.
Hold my piston. Bam. Next up, we have the Magnificat, or the Amplifier. Now, this is a thumbnail-sized lobe that's put in straight into the brain. Put it in the brain.
Plugged into nowhere.
Belisarius Cawl sticks his big robot thumb in everyone's brain. The implant secretes yet more hormones that increases growth functions and intensifies the advanced systems of other organs, such as the osmedulla and the biscopia, making them better. But there is a cheeky little thing when it comes to the Magnificat. It is one half of what is considered a dual valve immortus gland, which was a gland that was in the brains of all the Primarchs. But the other half of it has been lost to science and time.
Damn.
So however the Emperor did the other half of this yin-yang gland is no longer known to us. So quite literally, now that the Space Marines are like demigods, or demigods. Is the Emperor a god and his sons the demigods? What does that make the Marines? Quasi-gods? I don't know. You get what I'm going for here.
Yeah.
Heretics. Number 6, the Belisarian Furnace, also known as the Revitalizer. This one can come in at really any point. The last two go in at slots 4, 5, but the Belisarian Furnace goes in whenever he feels like it. So this is a dormant organ. Now, you said they were on stims before?
Yep.
This is a dormant organ that's connected to both hearts that in times of extreme trauma will turn itself on and expel self-manufactured chemicals not too dissimilar to combat stims.
Oh.
And then, after it's been used, the gland goes back to sleep to start making more chemicals.
It's just adrenaline on demand.
When you're playing Space Marine 2, you should always have an extra medical stim, in my opinion. Having read this, but alas.
Oh, because it's like built in. I get it.
Yeah, you're with me now. Next up. Now, I'm going to say this wrong. The hemastamen. I think I actually got it pretty good.
No, I think you nailed it.
Thank you. The hemastaman. Couldn't be hemaster women because no girls allowed. So the hemastaman, or He-Man Master of the Universe, is implanted into the circulatory system, so the cardiovascular and whatnots. This very, very small implant basically makes oxygen throughout the bloodstream better. It just blood oxygen much better. Now, next one, Larraman's organ. Now, this one's also just shoved into the chest cavity, but it's the size of the liver. Sorry, that's wrong. It is a liver-shaped organ, but it's the size of a golf ball. That makes it being stuck into the chest cavity much more palatable. So this one's also connected to the circulatory system, and it's responsible for Larraman cells, which, when the person is wounded, basically forces these Larraman cells to go, yippee, it's time for us to do our thing. And they bind themselves to the white blood cells, go straight to the wound site, and then upon contact with the air itself, they then form into a patch of scar tissue. So, it's platelets.
You know what it reminds me of in like sci-fi franchises where if their like spacesuits get damaged, they normally have like a gel or something that they can insert to seal
like
it up.
Spray foam.
Yeah, it kind of is like that, but inside and on demand. Anyway.
Yeah, they have packing insulation in their blood. But it's not perfect. If there's a bunch of shrapnel or crap in the wound, it doesn't really get rid of it, which is a problem.
It doesn't just like spray it out like a shotgun. Like he has like a spare shotgun just hidden. Just
just Wolverine, here, have this back. I guess not.
Yeah.
But we've had some circulatory systems. Will this next one be... Oh, this is the sleeping one. The catalepsian node.
Wow.
The catalepsian node goes into the back of the brain. Do you see why these Marines have these inserted, a couple at a time over a process of like 6 to 8 years?
Oh yeah, I imagine if you had all of these put in at once, you would not feel great.
Well, not all recruits survive because it's so physically demanding. And yeah, they have all their stims and their healing rituals they do, but it doesn't always, it's not always enough.
It probably like causes a massive toll on all like the already existing organic infrastructure. So
sure does. But the catalepsian node goes in the back of the brain. It's very small, like a bean. It impacts the circadian rhythms. So all your sleeping rhythm, your body clock, all that stuff that goes messy in the brain if you're sleep deprived. It deals with all that. If the Space Marine gets no sleep, the node is like, boop, I'll do it. And what occurs is that the Marine goes into a sleep state, but is sort of awake. And so parts of the brain shut down while the Marine is aware of their surroundings enough, like they can perceive their environment whilst in a rest state, like a crocodile, I believe. I think they kind of do something similar. No, that's a heart valve. I think the crocodile has a heart valve thing, so it limits circulation. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I don't need to tell you about crocodiles. So what that means is that the Marines can basically go up to 2 weeks without sleep. Like a proper sleep.
Yeah.
But when they do sleep, it's only a couple of hours because everything goes quick inside their body.
It kind of reminds me of like how your computer goes to sleep. I think it sort of is like
a little bit.
Yeah, anyway.
It's still downloading your Steam game in the background. Next one, the preomnor. The preomnor? You could call this the pre-omnomnomnor because it's a pre-stomach.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the quarantine for the stomach. If the Marine is eating poisonous or questionable foods, the preomnor doesn't digest it. It decontaminates it. And then it goes into the stomach. But if it's not actually going to be good in the stomach like at all, it can be isolated from the rest of the digestive tract.
Wow. That's very interesting. That's so bizarre. So, like, is it if he is eating something that like maybe isn't super nutritious for his body, it can just be like sent up elsewhere? I guess I don't know.
The Space Marine would avoid barley belly.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I have no idea what barley belly is, and then yes. So like, yeah, going overseas and then
going to Southeast Asia and paying $2 for a meal from some guy in a hut, and then wondering why you're so sick all of a sudden.
Why you've painted the walls.
Why it's coming out of 3 ends.
The Emperor, he says through tears in his eyes.
For the Emperor, where is my prenomnor?
The Emperor protects.
Be positive!
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Gosh, if you're still tuned in to us, why? Next up is the Omophagia. So the Omophagia has another nickname. It's called the Remembrancer, which I think is kind of cute if you've read the Horus Heresy. So the Omophagia, which could also be called the Nom-Nomphagia, allows a Space Marine to learn by eating. It is somewhere in the spinal cord, but it relays into the brain, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So nerve bundles connect between the spine and the stomach wall. What this allows is the Space Marine to consume genetic material, and then the information stored within that genetic material is relayed to the Marine's brain as a new set of memories or experiences. Yes, this is cannibalism with a little audio log attached to it. So the Blood Angels are a big fan of this one.
Yeah.
The Blood Angels have an overactive one, with some of their successors such as the Flesh Tearers and the Blood Drinkers having a really mutated version of that, leading to chapter cultural traditions of consuming the flesh for ancestral memories and talents and the like. Ugh.
I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know. That seems like something like
vampiric.
Well, I was going to say that seems like something that maybe like primitive people or primitive cultures would have done in like a more spiritual way, maybe.
Sure did, until prions occur, and then they needed to come up with Wendigo folklore to stop people from cannibalizing each other.
Yeah. See,
anyway,
cannibalism didn't even occur to me until you specifically brought it up. I just imagined some Space Marine sound like a toddler chewing on bricks, trying to figure out what they were made out of. But
the Space Marine grabs the Tyranid. I want to know about the hive mind. Or it eats an orc. The Space Marine's like, for Gork and more.
It's just mushroom.
Oh, dearie me. So, next up, we get something a little more understandable. The multi-lung. It's basically lung number 3.
Hell yeah. I know what lungs are. I know what they do.
Good stuff. Well, this one is exceptional for when the Marine is in environments that is not good for their normal too. So, low oxygen, or poison air, or in the water. The multi-lung uses a sort of sphincter-like muscle to close off the other lungs, and then this third lung takes over the doing of the breathing. It's really good at filtering poisons. It's actually good at filtering air through water. And if the Marine really needs to run really quickly, they can engage this one by panting a lot.
Turbo mode engaged.
Now, this is really helpful, actually, for drop pod insertions, because as they're being shot through high orbit, the blood is going crazy. And so if you're inside a drop pod, you're probably hearing a lot of and this is essentially allowing the Space Marine to retain consciousness as they're being shot through space into the atmosphere, into the ground.
Well, that's what like real life pilots and like astronauts do to like combat G's, right? Isn't it called hucking?
I actually don't know. I know more about crocodiles, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Mr. Joe Rogan, I suppose.
No, we don't. We don't shout that guy.
I'm kidding.
Shout. Head on. Australia Crocodile Sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Crocodilus Park in Darwin, Northern Territory.
Shout out to those guys. Keep up the good work. Actually, I love crocodiles. They are awesome.
Shout out to the Oculobe, the next implant for Space Marines. It's in the eyeball.
Okay, thank goodness. There's been a couple that you've said, and I'm like, is this in the eyeball? And it's like, no.
This is in the eyeball.
Anyway, cool.
So technically, the implant's in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Another one in the brain.
Yep.
It helps to provide hormonal and genetic stimuli, which helps the Marine to respond better to what they call optic therapy. What this means is the apothecary doing eye surgery so that the eyeballs can see wavelengths of light better. What that means is Space Marines can see really well. Allows them to see in darkness almost as if it was daylight, and this allows them to also see up to easily a couple of kilometers away as well. The salamanders actually have mutated to also see a little bit of the infrared spectrum. They see the fire, brothers.
They see the fire.
Now, this one might make you a little uncomfortable.
Probably.
The lineman's ear.
Mm-hmm.
So it replaces the ear. It's completely replacing the inner ear.
Okay.
That's the icky part. They don't have their original ears. They got new ears.
Oh. That's the... Okay. That's like the least icky of all of the ones you said.
I don't...
What about that sphincter lung? That doesn't...
I'm not going to say my joke.
Oh. Go on.
Oh, right. So the lineman's ear basically prevents dizziness and motion sickness, which seems pretty cool. It allows them to actually filter out and enhance certain sounds, which is really cool. Basically gives them the ability to hone in onto very, very, very subtle sounds, such as heartbeats from hundreds of meters away, were they to really focus.
Oh, wow.
Would you believe me if I said the Space Wolves have mutated this to be even better?
No.
Nah. Bloody wolves. Yeah. I don't know. Something about having my whole inner ear replaced. Just, I don't know. Don't know about that one.
I've had buggered up ears all my life, so I'm used to gross ear stuff, I suppose. But
fair enough.
Anyway.
You're exposed.
Yeah.
You're exposed to the lineman's ear. So this next one is called the Susan membrane. It is a membrane that's implanted above the brain. For once, it's not in the brain, it's above the brain. It's a little hair cap. But on the brain. Eventually, the membrane grows to cover the whole brain. But they need specific chemical therapy and training to actually allow it to do its thing. Without it, it's just there, like a weird flap. The Space Marine can use this implant to enter suspended animation, whether consciously or as an automatic reaction to trauma. So, if they get knocked the F out and they become unconscious, the Susan membrane basically suspends them, which then allows apothecaries to use chemical therapy to snap them out of it and bring them back, which I think is pretty neat because it's usually head trauma that gets you.
Absolutely. CTI is really bad.
Oh, yeah. What's next, Greg? The melanchromic organ. It basically adjusts your melanin possessing organs. So skin, hair, and eyes. It controls your skin tone. What this technically does is that it compensates sunlight, but also in a way that allows Marines to resist things such as radiation.
Those high UVs.
UVs, radiations, all that stuff, it helps the Marine to resist. So, Raven Guard, for example, have extremely pale skin, but their eyes are really dark. This is a mutation, but this would help them because they typically do a lot of night-based operations or subterranean operations. The salamanders on Nocturne have mutated to become very black. But this is because it's very heavy amounts of radiation on their home world.
I think Mustafar from Star Wars.
That's it. You know, this one's probably one of the most boring of them all. It's like, yeah, cool. Their skin changes to sunlight, don't we all? Well, yeah. The next one is the oolitic kidney. Oolithic kidney? It's a kidney that does blood filtration and filters poisons out of the immune system. That's what I meant to say. This actually isn't always so helpful, though, because depending on how much poison is in the bloodstream, the kidney will just snap its imaginary finger and make the Space Marine unconscious so it can do its detoxing really effectively.
Oh, that seems somewhat inconvenient.
It does. It does save the Marine's life. I imagine it's only for like minutes at most.
Yeah, okay.
But imagine if you're fighting Drakari and then they just stab you and then you're rotting inside and the kidney's like, hold on a sec, and you just go full on unconscious.
Hold on, it's nap time.
It stops you from liquefying inside out. But then in that time, you've been shanked and being hauled off to a witch cult arena.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a no from me, champ.
Probably really good against Nurgle, though, because Nurgle's bloody slow.
Just lay there while I go and stab you again.
I was thinking to myself after reading up a little bit of the Plague Wars, I'm like, man, how did the Ultramarines deal with being on Nurgle-infested planets? And now it makes a lot of sense. Wasn't just Armour of Contempt. The next up is the Neuroglottis. Any idea about this one?
No clue. Neuro being brain. That's the only guess that I have.
So this is a mouth-based implant. It's implanted in the back of the mouth.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, the Marine can identify things in the air or chemicals, which I guess could also be in the air. He basically goes, yep. It's poison, all right.
Did someone fart?
Is there a fucking death guard nearby?
Oh, God. So sorry.
Just like Nonna used to make.
Oh, that's so much better. Spaghetti. Sara Lee, apple crumble. Cream. Yum. So they're able to detect scents and flavors within the air.
Yeah.
And poison.
Would you believe me if I told you that the Space Wolves have adapted for this to be even better?
Well, I mean, it fits in like that, and like the additional hearing fits in with like their animalistic sort of characteristics. So I would believe you.
They're like, doggy treats? Farah, if you're still here, why?
No, don't turn them away.
Don't turn them away, Josh. Slapping myself. The next one's the Mucranoid.
The Mucranoid.
So the Mucranoid. You should be able to guess this one actually. Mucranoid.
I'm assuming it's to do with mucus.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mucus is all right. So this allows the Marine to sweat an oily cleansing substance out of their skin.
Yep.
Bloody gross.
So they don't have to wash themselves.
It's actually, I don't quite understand how this works, but it actually allows them to have some protection in the vacuum of space. Now, I imagine this has something to do with coating the skin in some sort of like suit to prevent space and the vacuum of space turning you into an icicle or whatever happens. Actually, yeah, that does make sense because it says here it also offers some resistance to extreme heat and cold. Yeah, they have they have a slimy skin, a slimy suit of skin. a skin slime suit.
So they're frog people.
Yeah, that's a much better joke than what I was trying to workshop. So they're frog people, and it's in their lower intestine. And anytime this activates, the hormonal secretions are absorbed via the colon.
Wow.
Interesting.
I am baffled. I didn't realize Space Marines were so extra. I did not realize they had, like, obviously you know that they're like superhuman, but like this is this is silly.
I mean, it makes sense, right? That they have hearts and lungs and better skin and better bones. But then you're like, oh, I never thought about the fact they might need to track somebody through tasting the air. Or I didn't realize that they would consider, maybe these drop pod assaults go wonky and all of a sudden you're in space and need some protection vis-a-vis frog people.
That makes total sense. But the whole like learning from eating, I don't know. I think someone's just having a bit of fun.
I'll have to freshen up on me lore, but the original 20 legions, the Blood Angels before old Sanga Sandwich was around.
Yep. Nice.
They were called the Revenant Legion, and they were such a vampiric, mopey bunch that the Imperium just sort of sent them to go deal with something that wasn't meant to really survive. And then they would just leave them there until they're like, who do we got for this suicide mission? Is the Revenant Legion anywhere nearby we can go and pick them up? And then they would go pick them up from a space station or whatever, only to find out that they left them there a little too long and they were cannibalizing the F out of each other because there was no more food.
Oh, no.
And then old Sanga Sandwich was like, hold on, I can give these vampire children of mine some culture because I am pretty.
He was, though. He was a very beautiful person. Him and Fulgrim before. Anyway.
How ironic is the Imperium, like no mutants, worships a literal angel.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Humans are not hypocrites at any point.
No, not at all.
So we then get to the Betches gland. This is a fun one. So the last one were frog people stuff. Now they're snake person stuff. So these are two identical glands inserted into the lower lip alongside the salivary glands, or the hard palate, if you will. So this allows them to synthesize and store a deadly poison that they can just go hot. They can spit venom.
They can wait. Why?
Because maybe they don't have a weapon or anything, and they need to just.
I suppose, yeah.
Look, I don't know why this one exists, to be honest, but I remember there's been like
it helps with digestion.
Maybe
helps the bricks go down a bit easier.
There's been in the like 40 plus Warhammer novels and novellas and such I've read, I can recall 2 instances where this has come up. One was just like the Marine in a pickle. I think he had a restraint on or something. And he was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Now, I read that like 15 years ago, so I'm not doing the scene justice. But he basically was like, grumble, grumble, that's right, I have this thing I can do.
See, this would be useful on the heavy.
Close corner weapon.
Oh, man.
The second time, I think, was in a heresy short, like a Marine versus Marine moment. And like one's like headbutting each other and like they'd lost their weapons by that point and the dude had like cracked his helmet or whatever, and so the guy without the helmet was like, what the to the other guy's face. It was just starting to like melt through his skin.
Oh, gee. It's so gruesome.
Am I misremembering this? Quite probably. But the fact that it's come to my brain means it's probably not too far from a truth. So that's Betches gland. We have progenoids next. So progenoids is how Marines reproduce.
Oh, you know what's so funny? I was going to say, that sounds kind of like globule.
There are 2 of these. One's in the neck and one's also in the chest cavity. Ugh. So very, 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 very important glands because after about 10-ish years of having these inserted into the body, the glands have absorbed enough genetic material from all the other organs to develop a gene seed. And the gene seed is somewhere in the progenoid. And the gene seed, from my understanding, is ignition organ. It's the get started button. It's the get started thing you put in somebody. Are you with me?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Any thoughts?
I thought you were maybe going to bring up about how, although I suppose this isn't like implant specific, but these are what the apothecaries go around collecting from their dead comrades, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So it's they're very, very crucial to basically having Space Marines around. And they can't make any more, and that's why they're going around collecting them? Or is it maybe just to get more troops back on the field quickly because they're already developed?
You're pretty much hitting the number on the head. From it, you can grow the other organs in like a wet lab.
Okay.
The gene seed itself, like the progenoid itself, like helps the Marine to accept those implanted organs, almost like a filtration system for the body's healing, to be like, no, this is okay. Like, we can accept this. You know, like sometimes real life surgeries, implants are rejected after some time. The gene seed basically, besides allowing them to cultivate new organs, is also there to be like, hey man, just chill out. This is meant to be.
Right. Helps with the introduction of these things into the body.
Yeah, but after a while, certain chapters develop mutated
gene seeds.
Little gene seed foundries for all the other organs, which allows things like the neuroglottis to be better for the space wolves, right?
Yeah.
Or the omnomopay or whatever it was called for the blood angels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently, there is a documented chance of gene seed mutation in the first founding chapters. Ultramarines are like the best. They have like 10% chance of deficiency, meaning that the organs will mutate. Dark Angels and Imperial Fists are also around that 10% mark, but at least Imperial Fists have actually lost the ability to cultivate one or two of these various implants and just don't have it. I think the Susan membrane for the Fist, they just don't got it anymore. It doesn't grow. So they can't go into their hibernation. If you're an Imperial Fist, sorry. But then, as you get up the scale, chapters like Blood Angels are at the like 50%-ish mark, like 1 in 2 chance of having a freaky need for blood. If you're a Space Wolves, there's a 75% chance and a really freaky side effect of becoming a wolf boy. And then Salamanders, you have a 90% chance of becoming black.
Oh, I thought they all had that like charcoal complexion.
No, not all, but It helps.
Cool.
It basically predisposes them to having a really good, what was the skin one?
Melanin something.
Yeah, it's the melanchromic organ. It basically predisposes a salamander to having a really effective one of that. It's interesting, isn't it? In a sense.
It is very interesting.
You could do a whole health class on Space Marines. Be like, could this work in real life?
That would be a hilarious prank on children, by the way.
No.
You just start like doing like an anatomy class, but you talk about like Space Marine anatomy and you don't necessarily tell them.
What
would you think I was meaning?
I went the dark side of humanity, friend. I was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, we just start putting these things in actual people and seeing how it goes. Yeah, no.
Anyway, we're now at the end. We're at the Black Carapace.
Oh, okay.
This sucks, dude. This one makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
So, you know how in various media and such, the Marines have all those little like ports in their skin?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, to do this, a film of black plastic is inserted directly beneath the skin of Marines in sheets. So, big old surgery arms and add mechy dudes and apothecaries are like, snip, snip, I'm going to open up this part of your skin. Open it up, and then just like smush, here's a black plastic sheet. On the outside, the carapace hardens. On the inside, it then sends invasive neural bundles into the marine's body. Once the organ is then mature, the recipient is then basically equipped with all those little neurosensors and interface points that are cut into the surface of the body, binding to the carapace beneath. So what ends up happening is when the marine is wearing their armor, the carapace connects the systems of the armor with the neurological feedback of the marine.
Oh, okay. Yep. So kind of like he moves his arm and it helps the suit's arm move because it's sensing like the muscles moving as opposed to him like actually lifting up the arm.
Yeah, and it connects into things as well, like, for example, like, you've seen like the Phobos units, right? They all got the little Auspex scanners and such on their backpacks and the like.
Oh, yep.
Things like that, all those sensory data feeds are obviously streaming into like the helmet and all that stuff, but it basically is also sending information, at least subconsciously, into the brain. And then the Marines are also able to sort of control certain parts of the armor. It can be used as a way to relay certain feedback. Like if the armor is penetrated, but they can't feel where they're actually injured, the arm will be like, right there's a hole. So it makes them very intuitive whilst wearing their power armor, whereas, say, like a Sister of Battle, some of them actually do have a similar concept, but not nearly to the level of power
that the Space Marines have.
Like you see some Sisters of Battle having these sort of neuro plugs and such for power armor, Inquisitors as well, but it's not like the whole body. It's not as advanced.
No.
But even certain versions of this, and by that I mean like the Marines themselves, like who drive vehicles, are actually bonded with the vehicles as well to an extent. A special spinal tap plugs into the power armor so that the Marine can actually like feel the vehicle, like the controls of it a little bit.
I am speed.
It's actually a bit like that. You'll find little passages here and there in the lore of Marines just like not willing to leave their ship or tank, whatever that's going down or about to be destroyed, because they just have built this sort of spiritual connection to the vehicle. Like the whole machine spirit thing is also part of them. And if they've been doing like a bajillion war zones in this vehicle, it would be like living without a part of yourself, because they've just gotten so used to feeling it. There's a scene in the Hell's Reach novel where the main character literally has to rip this cable out of his pilot because the ship's going down and he won't leave. But he's like, motherfucker, there's like 5 of us, I need you. And he like rips the cabling out of the socket and just like one arms this guy who's now going through like system shock because he just got ripped out of a part of his consciousness.
Oh yeah.
Holds him in one arm and just flies out with his jetpack out of the crashing ship because he would have stayed. It's kind of crazy.
No, that is very crazy. Yeah, I didn't realize that they like partially flayed you and then stuck more or less a wetsuit underneath your skin. That makes my skin hurt.
There's a quote here. So the person who helped perfect the technology basically said we got to graft it in pieces because you cannot grow it internally like the other organs, but once it is in place, it encourages the body to adapt it like it's part of itself, and then the carapace begins to spread like an engineered controlled cancer cell.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Ugh, yuck.
Do you like your Space Marines with or without the peel? Just skin them skin them all off and then put that on and then put their skin back on.
Rather.
But I suppose just growing it under the skin would be better. Anyway, yes.
This is why Marines take like an hour to get dressed, because they need a whole team of people to make sure it all connects and goes well and they're not just freaking out. Same with like taking it off, you know? It's not like an old-timey knight who can just unstrap themselves. It's like, help me detangle from this biochemical plastic mess of ceramite plate.
Yeah. Well, they need help getting into the supersuit.
Honey,
Yeah.
honey, where is my super suit?
Why are we just quoting kids movie? I mean, it's good. It's fun.
We're kids at heart.
That we are. Judging by the giggling.
So yeah, chemical treatments, really helpful at the start, hypnotherapy and indoctrination throughout, and then physical training to actually provoke the organs to work. That
Oh, yeah.
is the final dot point I've gathered for Space Marine implants. So all of that
Damn.
is done over a period of 6 to 8 years, usually in blocks of 2 or 3.
Oh, wow. That's
Are you uncomfortable?
quite a lot. A little bit. See, I'm actually like, I'm a wuss. I'm a big fat wuss when it comes to this sort of stuff, which is somewhat amusing. Every now and again, I like snap back to the fact that we are just sacks of organs sloshing around, and I get like very squeamish about it. Even now, I'm like shaking my hands around like a little.
Yeah, you have that like reflexive ick. You're like, oh,
yeah, exactly. And so, like, yeah, this sort of stuff is.
You said we're like sort of sacks of flesh, and you're reminded of that, and like hearing all of this has definitely made me a little bit itchy in some areas. Like when I was reading like the oculo, my eyes felt a little itchy. I'm like, oh no.
See, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever had like an itching sensation from this sort of stuff. Like the lower part of my quads kind of hurt. I mean, that might just be because I'm like on my feet all day. Like my muscles
a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? That might be what it is. I'm like getting like tense a little bit in the muscles, but like.
Yeah, like I get kind of like itchy, almost like there's like something on the skin a little bit when I'm starting to get like freaked out by this stuff. But I get the little sweats, you know. I get the sweats.
Totally unrelated. I get the worst hand sweats when like people are climbing up the side of buildings, which I imagine. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I imagine most people do. But anyway, yeah, the good old hand sweats.
There's this fellow on Instagram who does these reactive commentaries to people doing it, and it's always styled as like, why do white people be doing this?
Why are you doing this, silly boy?
And this thing is like completely optional, by the way. Whenever I see someone doing those like free climbing stuff, in my brain I have this lovely Jamaican, I think it's Jamaican man, completely optional, by the way, brother.
That's so good. What a great response.
Yeah. And then it's all like, you know, those other little like YouTube rot clips that are just like people like free running a city or something like that, or parkouring in an abandoned place, and
or just base jumping.
Yeah, completely optional activity, brother. No one be forcing you to do this.
That's what a great impression.
But I hope this has given you a better understanding of just how a Space Marine is as Chad as they are.
Absolute Chad.
They go through hell, and that cannot be understated, from a very, very young age, which also makes them a little emotionally immature at times. But it's because like they're not a human. They're this. I don't know. You know how many organs does a human have? How many? I should know this.
40-something.
How many? 78 organs. Can you imagine?
Touch off.
Can you imagine 22 more? Of course, it's 22 to make a nice round 100. Chef's
Oh my
kiss.
gosh!
But could you imagine having an extra quarter of you slapped onto all of this? Like,
and you know what's crazy? Some people like experience like horrible puberty years. Imagine having so much extra bullshit just slapped inside of you. It's like, yeah, have fun.
And then a Black Templar says, hey, you with far less armor and experience, go first. Be my meat shield, squire.
You first, buddy.
Have you seen the Black Templar? Look at, the Black Templar's 10th edition codex, right? Have you seen it, the cover art?
I think I have. Let me bring it up real quickly. Black Templar. Oops, not Black Template. Oh no.
The kid in
Poor Timmy.
Poor Timmy with a questionable haircut.
Timmy Templar.
Poor Timmy Templar.
That was totally accidental. Yeah.
Timmy
look at that haircut.
With the extreme bowl cut. If this lore is to be believed, he's like 15 at most.
Oh, yeah.
Far out.
But his ears look fine.
Completely not an optional behavior, by the way. You kind of get selected, and they're like, look, we have a bunch of trials. At first, they're physical rites of passage. Later, they're more of a constitutional thing and a psychological thing. But you either do it, and maybe you die, or we just kill you now, or we just say, look, we like your spirit, kid. We're going to make you a serf instead.
I'll tell you now.
You're going to be a serf? You're going to polish Helbrecht's gun?
Surf and turf. No, I can tell you now I would not have survived this. Just throwing it out there. For anyone who's interested or curious, what about you, Josh? Do you think you would have passed the vibe check?
Brother, I think I'd rather go through whatever the astropath's got to go through, eh?
Oh, that's not that much better, is it?
I'm not cut out for this physical punishment. I had a friend who laid out in very much detail the training process of their time in the Navy, and I was just like, no. No, thank you. Like, I know in comparison to being surgically modified, the real world navies is just like a really hard boot camp. Or, that's putting it lightly. You could do it. But for me to look at that and be like, nah, that's not for me. I'd be the first idiot to die in all of this Space Marine stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, fair.
But like, you couldn't even go the easy route and be like, no, I'll be the Space Marine doctor. I'll be the apothecary. Or like, no, I like playing with toys. I'll be the tech marine. No, you still got to go through all of this to get there.
Yeah, wild stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'll just be an adepta administratum ministorum guy instead. I'll do the computers.
You could always be a servitor.
No, thank you. They're usually criminals anyway. Usually it's a punishment.
Oh.
And they're left with just a little bit of consciousness, so they're a little bit aware of what's happened to them. Yum.
Bummer.
Maybe an inquisitor. At least then you could have a modicum of power.
True.
Oh, mate. Anything you want to say about becoming a Space Marine before we're no longer talking about it?
No. That's a great segue back onto the topic. No, not really. Not for me.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite of the organs?
Oh, okay. I know I talked shit on it. Oh, sorry. I talked crap on it. Pardon me. You can bleep that out in post. Just fix it in post. I think learning through the genetic makeup of what you're eating would actually be kind of cool. I don't know how that like translates into knowledge, but I think that's cool.
This chicken was not treated with environmental respect.
Oh no, maybe not. Yeah, then you turn into like a super hippie to save the animals.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting ethical practices.
No, you don't understand. I know their pain.
Well, did you know that grass can feel pain too?
That it can. And that's what the chemical, that's like that freshly cut grass smell is, right? The grass in distress.
The grass is like, hear our song. Ah! And you're like, that smells good.
Oh, I hate it. It's horrid.
I'm a big fan of combat defib to the heart. Belisarian Furnace. Just a little bit of like a, this is the end for me, my brothers. And then this one tech priest over in the corner is like, wait for it. brother, I'm ready to go for the Emperor. Charge!
Definitely see that. That is a good one too.
All right. We should probably end this so I can edit this before I start
Probably.
to develop a catalepsia node of my own.
Whoa!
Whoa!
All right.
Full circle. Full circular organ to the chest cavity, Zach.
Do you want me to do the outro for this video?
Go for it. Do the outro. I'm already plugging my stuff. Take us away, Zach.
Oh my god! I'm already packing up.
All right, back up.
Thank you everyone for listening. It's been great to see everyone joining the Discord. If you haven't already, there should be a link that Josh should be putting somewhere around. You can find it. Don't forget to check the socials, and we'll see you in the next one. As for me, I'm going to go look at some different implants.
I was lining up a joke of being packed up like, hey, can you give me a lift? And then you hit us with that.
Oh, a Brazilian butt lift. Nice.
Little dermal horns, maybe.
Oh no, they're horrid.
Far out. I'm just gonna end the episode in 3, 2,